This is Batman. I know many of you are wondering who will win in the big film coming out with me and Whitebread. Superman. The answer is, well, it's me.
Oh, really? I beg to differ.
Hi, Whitebread. I didn't know you were here. As usual, you fly in and gotta one-up me.
You talk a lot of smack, Batman, but everybody knows there's no way you could win.
Oh yeah? Have you seen my new ring?
Oh, it's very nice. Is that emerald? Kryptonite!
You were saying?
Hey guys, it's me, Deadpool. And I will kick both of your asses!
Shut up,
Deadpool!
Deadpool! Hang on to your capes, people. You just joined Super Geeks.
Well, that was interesting. Batman, Superman, Deadpool, all in the same room. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like the intro music.
The music or the skit?
Of course you do.
The music.
Oh. All right. Well, my name is George. My social media is Chooch99A. With me today, I'm going to start with our guest. Well, not really a guest. I'm sorry. He's been meaning to be on the show as a regular. We haven't been able to catch him at the right time. But it is our friend Raul. Actually, you do it, Raul. Do the Raul.
Raul.
I can't roll my tongue the way you can. That's a talent right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome to the show finally, my friend.
Hello.
Where can people find you on social media, Raul?
Well, I'll just give out my Facebook. I have an open face policy. Anybody that wants to friend me or send me a message, I am on Raul Padron. I have a Drider as a picture, and I live in Arizona. You could find me through there.
A Drider, you mean like the D&D thing?
D&D, very dorky.
He's
yes.
on a horse with a hat.
Don't listen to them.
No, a Drider is basically like an Arania, as they call it in some role-playing games. It's like a half-human upper torso, like a centaur, but with a spider bottom.
Yep. Half drow, half spider.
Half drow on the top. Yep. I remember back in the day. Hey, it's Super Geeks. It doesn't have to just be superheroes. I mean, I'm a D&D hardcore. I was a DM since the 1970s, to be quite honest with you. 1981. That was the year I started doing D&D. I remember to this day.
Sounds like you're giving away your age.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to play that game, Magnum.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I look good for my age. People would
Hey,
never
I'm
guess.
394 years old, so
Yeah.
I don't
Oh.
care.
Are you a
Vampire
Time
in
Lord?
Brooklyn time.
Yeah, are you a vampire or a Time Lord?
I'm a vampire,
In
actually.
cat years?
It could be.
No, in human ears.
Huh.
I'm a vampire.
And then we got, we got our vampire friend, Black Magnum, also known as Anthony. Where can people find you on social media?
You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Battles.
Very good, very good. And then returning with us, I want to say now, as always, because it's been more than not, is my friend Ross. Ross, where can people find you?
People can find me at Subsailor688 on Twitter.
And just to clarify, the sub is what?
Submarine.
Right, not the other thing.
You
Not
know,
the dirty version.
I do appreciate your service in the military, and I thank you for serving our country. But I think it would be awesome if your name was Seaman 69.
Oh, he went there, people.
I think that's been taken by more than a few people.
Oh, he went there. All it takes is dropping the A, and there you go. Oh no, then never mind. That still required the E at the end. Never mind. But yeah. Okay, he went there, but that's fine.
I think we found out a little bit more about George than we wanted to know about.
It's possible.
That's the beauty of podcasting.
So,
Beauty or horror?
well, it could be both.
Both one side of the same coin.
I want to encourage our listeners to
A salty surprise.
Hopefully, you'll have no choice. But I
Very
wanna,
salty.
very salty in the superhero genre. But I do consider Indiana Jones sort of a sub-superhero culture. I mean, he's a larger-than-life character.
Well, he's a pulp. He's a pulp hero.
He's a pulp. He's like James Bond. He's a noir character. He's unique. He created his own genre, I think. But anyways, he's coming back again, and they confirmed it. This has had mixed reactions from everybody. I never saw that horrible last movie, The Crystal Skull. That everybody, I'm glad I didn't. I like Shia LaBeouf. I think.
How are you a fan of?
Because I was dissuaded from seeing it because of the negative, horrible backlash. It wasn't.
You can't go off the negative splash.
Sometimes you. I mean, if something, a horse is a horse, of course, unless it's Mr. Ed. But no, sometimes you gotta. I don't know. There's just something that just the reaction to the movie was so horrible, it just made me not want to spend the money.
I did not want to see it either, to be honest with you.
Are you serious?
Sometimes it wasn't like the JJ Star Trek movie where people were like having their fan reasons for reacting. This was just universal panning. Even Rotten Tomatoes gave it like what? Something under the 2. It was so low on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't even think it had double digits. I mean, that's bad.
It was a well-deserved flop.
Yeah, it was a raspberry. It wasn't a tomato. So
I'm
sometimes
disappointed in all of you.
I've seen
If you are an Indiana Jones fan, you will love every movie that they have come out with.
Not true.
No.
That's not
Yes,
true.
you would.
No, you don't.
I don't understand why you guys hate it.
Wait a minute. So you're saying Star Trek V: The Final Frontier?
No, I'm talking about Indiana Jones.
Well, I
Screw
understand
Star
that.
Trek, okay?
I'm
All right,
just saying, you're just
let's
saying
talk about
fandom.
Indiana Jones.
I'm saying any fandom.
Why do you have to love everything?
You
if
don't.
you're a fan.
I think you're doing a disservice
you
if
can
you
be
just.
selective. You can be selective if you're
Yes.
a
I
fan.
think you guys are having expectations higher than the movies can project for you.
Magnum, I will sum up why this movie was terrible in one word. Now, give me 1 second. Alien.
Actually, that I had no problem with because I think that does fit the.
It doesn't.
I love how he says
I
aliens,
think it is
and then
something
George is like, "No, that was fine for me."
It was. I don't think. I don't have a
have
problem with
worse-
putting
I have
aliens
a
in
worse
Indiana
problem
Jones. I
with
think
the
Indiana
movie.
Jones.
Shia LaBeouf. How about that? Why don't we
Actually,
talk
I
about
gotta get.
Shia LaBeouf is actually a good actor,
I actually-
despite
Oh my
what
God,
you
no
think
way.
of him.
He's
way.
actually in hindsight. I know it's popular to hate on him, but I actually like
because
him.
he's
I
a
mean,
shitty actor. That's why.
No, he's actually a very good actor.
He's gotten better. He grew up in the field, so I think so. He got better. Around the Transformers time, he wasn't that good, but I think he has. In that movie with Brad Pitt, where they did the tank thing in World War II, I don't remember the name of it. He was actually really good in that one. I think under the right director,
alright.
certain actors can be good. Even Megan
He was
Fox.
alright. No.
But anyways, I digress. The thing is that with Indiana Jones, no, with any genre, you shouldn't just be so fanboyish that you're willing to overlook at all costs that a movie can't be bad.
My thing is this.
You shouldn't.
If you think that these actors are horrible, I challenge you to do better.
Well,
I'm
that's
No,
a
not
no,
our
TMNT
that's not-
fan,
that's
but
not
I'm not
true.
going to stand for the piece of crap that was the latest reboot.
It's not the actor's fault, it's the writers.
No. The actor
Director,
is,
too.
is the one who is supposedly the expert, getting paid millions to do his job.
Direction
That's
has
what he
to.
does for a
In
living.
fairness, Zeb, for people who don't know what I'm talking about Raul. That's his online nomenclature. The reason why I argued that a little bit is look at the prequels for Star Wars. You have great actors like Natalie Portman and Samuel L. Jackson. It's all about the director. If your director is shit, I gotta edit that out. Subspace video. Sorry. If your director is crap, then even the good actor can sound bad. Look at like I said, they can sound wooden.
Yeah, there is a leeway, but there's also bad acting when it goes from movie to movie to movie.
Yeah.
And Shia LaBeouf has bad acting movie to movie to movie.
I gotta disagree.
No, I disagree. You got to look at it this way. Since you're talking about Star Wars, Samuel Jackson, right? He played Mace Windu.
Right.
When he got his hand cut off, he went out like a female dog. And he was screaming and crying, and then he got thrown out to the street, okay?
Oh, my God.
And that wasn't because of his ability to act. That was the
That's one
director
swear that I
of the
think is
movie.
allowed to be in there. In other words, you're saying he went out like a bitch. That's funny. Mace Windu went out like a bitch, ladies and gentlemen, because Anakin cut his hand off. Mace Windu.
He did. He started screaming. Do you guys remember that scene?
He did. Wouldn't you?
No. You got to remember, when your hand is cut off by a lightsaber, it's cauterized.
Yeah, I know.
So you're not going to sit there and go, ah! Ah! And then get thrown out into the street of Coruscant.
Lost your hand. Have you ever had something amputated from you?
Yeah, but you know what? He just made me revisualize this. I've got to watch the movie scene. I'm going to put the clip on the Super Geeks. Oh my God. You got me totally wanting to make some kind of a funny GIF or some kind of meme.
I want you to deny that he went out with a whimper, or in that case, a freaking major.
He's saying he
No, he went out screaming. He was screaming.
Now that I think about it,
a Wilhelm scream.
But
Yeah,
you know what's funny?
He just had his hand not only cut off, but burned off. That's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Not when it's cauterized.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
all that is done.
It's not a
It's
shock.
done.
Cauterizing
It's
is
not
a
a shock.
burn.
He
Burns
went out like a
hurts.
female dog.
Yeah, it's a shock to the system when you lose a major body part.
Hmm. No, you have phantom pain, right? You have
No,
phantom
it's not phantom.
The
memory.
phantom pained him.
when
He
you lose
feels
a part
he
of your
feels the
body.
hand even though it's not there. It's
No,
phantom memory.
It's not phantom memory when you lose a major body part.
I'm just picturing that scene in my head now, and I you know how everybody makes fun of Darth Vader's "no" over and over again. I'm surprised they haven't revisited the Mace Windu scream. Well, we're gonna call it the Mace Windu.
Yeah, because everyone's scared of Samuel Jackson. But the fact of the matter is, he went out like a female dog, screaming, and then was thrown out into the streets of Coruscant.
Yeah,
He had
because
his hand cut off, flesh burned, and was being electrocuted. I'd say that.
Yeah, but he wasn't electrocuted
Nope.
after he started.
He's
screaming.
a giant master. He was actually the best Jedi fighter out of the whole Jedi
I'll tell
organization.
You this. Now, normally we don't talk about Star Wars on this show, but I'm not going to. It's part of this conversation, so screw it. It's Geeks. It doesn't have to necessarily be just superhero stuff, but because we talked about Supernatural last week, so why not? Let's open up the doors a little bit. However, I will say this: a lot of fans argued that Mace Windu, that the Emperor lost the fight on purpose in order to get Anakin to prove himself. No.
Oh, he did. No, he totally did. It was all planned out.
No.
Remember when he was like, "Oh, you got me, you're gonna win,"
really
and then
was.
Mace Windu was like, "I'm gonna kill you,"
Then
Anakin was like, "No, you're not," and then he cut his hand off.
Dude, listen to me. There's no way, because the Emperor is too selfish with his own life in order to take a risk like that. He really did lose that fight.
No,
that's my opinion.
He didn't.
No, he did not lose the fight. It was
really think he
all
planned
on
that?
purpose. It was pre-planned.
The Emperor is a
Because George Lucas went on record as to saying that Mace did beat him. That was legit. He would have killed him if Anakin hadn't come in there.
The Emperor is a methodical planner.
To me, it just seems like his selfish side would have come into play, more self-preserving.
Even if he had lost, he still has clones.
That's not canon, though. That's not canon. We can't go by that. Lucas wasn't thinking that
Dude,
when he wrote it.
rewatch the fight. The Emperor was smiling the whole time.
You might be right. Now that I think about it, you might be right.
I mean,
Now,
come on,
let me ask
that
you-
whimpering at the end from the Emperor. He's going to kill me.
Yeah,
Don't
I agree
kill
with
me,
you there. Now that I
please.
think about it, let me ask you this: do you think his fate? Because a lot of people are arguing about this too. Do you think he always was disfigured, but was using an illusion to make himself look normal, or do you think he really was disfigured by?
It was
lightning?
an illusion.
This
So
right.
You
it's
got to
illusion.
remember that this emperor had the power to hide his
Dark sideness.
dark sideness with the Force
Yeah.
to Jedi's.
I
The
think he might be.
Jedi's didn't even know that the guy had Force powers.
Huh.
That's how strong the emperor was.
Raul, try hitting spacebar. Sometimes if you type when you're in TeamSpeak, it'll mute you.
Okay,
Raul.
I got it.
Okay, good. Yeah, that happened to me a lot. In fact, that's why I have Ross backing me up on the recording, is because last week, thank God you did, by the way, because sometimes my thing will accidentally auto mute if I respond to somebody like on Facebook while I'm in the middle of the show. So it's a little glitch, but anyways, yeah, I think.
So Indiana Jones.
We
We're
did
not
skip over
there
that.
yet.
No. We're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of that part. Okay, so Indiana Jones. Who here saw the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
I did.
I did.
Okay,
I did.
did
I
you ever
liked
see
them.
the
Saw bits
final
and pieces of
episode?
it.
The final episode, Harrison Ford, because this is what they talked about in a lot of shows about how it could work to bring it back one more time past the Crystal Skull to make up for it. Is if they're
He's
doing
too
it as a
old. He's
well,
too
no.
old.
Listen, the reason why is if you saw the final episode of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, the idea is Indy could be there as telling a story, a flashback, and this is how you introduce the next Indiana Jones through the movie. You're having him tell a story as old Indiana Jones about something he went through, like in the late 40s or whatever. And you then do flashbacks, and this is how you introduce, sort of like the way they do with River Phoenix in The Last Crusade. You do flashbacks. They did this in the final episode of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Harrison Ford guest starred on that episode, which was done by CBS. And in the entire final episode, throughout, you even actually saw Indy further ahead than you've ever seen him in like 1950 something, when he's married and he's settled down, and they gave makeup to Harrison Ford to make him look even older at the time. So he was showing adventures we haven't even seen that are in the future beyond Crystal Skull, and he kept telling the story as a flashback. And
Now
I think
he doesn't need makeup. He just has Calista Flockhart suck the life out of him.
Yeah, he would need CGI instead to make him look younger, right? So, but a lot of people are saying this is how the only way they would accept it working is whether it's Chris Pratt or whoever they hire to play a young Indian. If they're smart, they'll pick whoever the actor they're going to play young Han Solo, right? Because it makes sense. So a lot of people are saying if they do it as a flashback, as one big flashback, as a way of introducing the next Indiana Jones actor, it could work. What do you guys think? Not as obviously Harrison Ford running around doing whatever, but as him telling a story by the fireplace to somebody. I
think they should retire this and give the title to somebody else. Make it a different Indiana Jones. Say that the title goes into modern times, and give the title to somebody else. Make him a teacher. Make it 1 second, George.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Make him a teacher. Make him have an apprentice, sort of a apprenticeship in the field, like they tried to do in Skull. But instead of it being Shia LaBeouf, make it one of these young buck action stars that they could actually take over the role.
A lot of people are arguing they shouldn't have gone or tried to go beyond the Nazi era. That's another point of interest.
They can definitely do it. There's still a lot of undiscovered country but they need to get out of Africa. They can go to Southeast Asia. They can go to Russia. They can go to Mongolia.
There's a lot during the.
What's your issue with Africa?
Oh.
There's not an issue with Africa. There's just a lot more. There's a lot more geography. Open up National Geographic sometime.
Well, the bottom line is this: you got to understand that Harrison Ford is 73 years old.
Yeah. Can he even survive?
Okay.
They actually say he'll be when they do this film, which is scheduled for 2019.
In 2019, the dude's going to be like 76 years old.
78, yeah.
He nearly died on the set of Star Wars.
He did.
Yeah, he broke his leg.
He broke
on
his
the ramp
wrist.
of the Falcon.
He broke his wrist.
No, he was talking about this on Jimmy Kimmel. The ramp to the Millennium Falcon fell on his leg. He was trapped under it.
Yeah, and he broke his leg.
Yep. So
Dude is 70 years old.
can you imagine him trying to
Breaks
do the
his
kind of
leg.
stunts that are required for Indiana Jones when he's running around in a tomb somewhere?
You know, and when you watch the movie, the dude was unable to move properly. If you notice his
it was
movement,
awful.
it was
awful.
very, very bad. He was reminiscent of a crippled old man.
Yeah.
But it was dealt because of his broken leg.
Yep. I gotta say, I wouldn't. Here's one crossover I wouldn't mind. Is they're talking about Daisy Ridley playing the next Lara Croft. Now, boob size aside, and if Shell was here, she'd go, but I mean, that is an issue with Lara
I
Croft.
shall do it for her.
Thank you. You did a good imitation. But I think that it would be kind of neat to somehow connect Lara Croft with Indiana Jones in some way.
Two different companies.
No, yeah, that's true. But sometimes you'd be surprised they can do sort of nods to, little homages and say, we recognize. But anyways, that being said, all right, you know what? Indiana Jones is something that I think I agree with Magnum that you don't have to stay in the Nazi era. Although
No, I said that.
You said that. Well, he agreed. But you did say that. You're right. But I do think that I think the only way that credibly they could do this next movie to make up for Crystal Skull is that because using the Russians like they did in this last movie, I may not have seen the whole movie, but I've seen lots of clips on YouTube. So I mean, I feel as if I've seen the key points of the good of whatever was good of the movie, because that's usually what people post. Because otherwise, you're just putting stuff up there to rip on.
You don't need Nazis to make Indiana Jones good.
The Russians did work.
Temple of Doom didn't have any Nazis in it at all.
That's a good point. I never thought. Yeah, they didn't.
And it was outside of Africa. Magnum.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, where did that
And
take?
yes, it was the weakest of the three films, but it wasn't a bad film.
I don't know about that. I think it was. Some people would say it was like The Empire Strikes Back of the Indiana Jones franchise.
No, that was definitely the third one.
Monkey Brains.
Chilled Monkey Brains is no dessert known to.
You know what's funny? That movie you're talking about, the girl who played his love interest, the chick, the blonde, ended up marrying Steven Spielberg.
Lady only in movie because she's banging director.
No, banging director's friend.
Ooh. Oh well, him and Lucas were working on it together, but yeah. I know what you're saying though. No, but okay, so Indiana Jones. I think we can all agree.
Hey Steven, I have this hot chick in my movie. you want to meet her? Sure.
So let me get a consensus before we move on to the next subject. Are we unsure about the next movie, or are we optimistic it could actually end up fixing, leaving them on a higher note?
Thumbs down. Thumbs down for me.
Bad idea.
I just think that they're going to bank on something that is not new.
Okay.
You know?
I'm not really looking forward to it. Crystal Skull left a really bad taste in my mouth, and I'm wondering if there's any future for another Harrison Ford Indiana Jones.
But let me.
I mean, you got a Harrison Ford that is over 70 years old. What is he going to be doing with his little walker with tennis balls?
Well, this is
and
like I
he's
said.
like, you know.
He's going to replace the idol with like a social security check.
Oh
That's
my
what's gonna
God.
happen.
Or he's going to be the Sean Connery in the movie. Remember when Sean Connery was the
Pull his
dad?
umbrella and scare away the geese.
Yeah, and he uses his umbrella to scare away the bad people.
Actually, Sean Connery probably is in better shape than he is.
Probably.
That could be true.
True enough.
I still
Yes.
maintain the idea that if they do it like if they're smart about this and they have Indy telling, like I said, if you guys watch the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which you said you did, if you remember the final episode, they actually Harrison Ford was in it, which was unusual because he came to TV, and he did the back and forth flashback, flash forward as older and younger Indy, sort of going through his history on the show, and I think that they could do something similar in
Not
this.
unusual because you look at the director of the producer, excuse me, And
Yeah.
the future the first person who gave him his big break and his big exposure happened to be the same director and producer who of the show of Young Indiana Jones.
They
So
had one scene. I'll never forget that episode because we met. Like I said earlier, We met Indiana Jones. And it's funny because so many people don't realize this actually happened. In this episode, the CBS, and it's canon in the Indiana Jones mythos. It was the final episode, and Harrison Ford not only guest starred, but he played Indiana Jones even older than he is in the last movie we just saw. He played him as like 90-something years old in like the 1960s. He was married. They didn't specify who his wife was. Obviously, it was probably Marion, but we don't know. They made him wicked old. He had glasses. He was hunched over, and he was like an old indie professor guy. And so we know Indiana Jones lives at least until the 1960s. Anything beyond that is kind of dubious, unless they do some kind of mystical thing, which they could theoretically.
well, he drank from the cup of immortality, so he
you
shouldn't
know,
age
that's
at
a
all.
good point. They could actually. Oh my God! Wait a minute. You just opened my eyes. I've been talking about how they should do it as a backstory, like a narrative thing. What if in this next movie, in the beginning of the movie, Harrison Ford drinks from that famous fountain, the cup of youth, or whatever, from the
Well,
the
he
Mexican.
replaced it. He put it back. He
Not
shouldn't-
that one. The
The-
other one, the Fountain of Youth.
The catch
Mexican.
for that cup is that you're immortal so long as you stay in that cavern.
I'm talking about a different mythology, though. Not the one from the King Arthur legends that they were doing. I'm talking about the Fountain of Youth, the one from the Aztec times.
And the knight, he did age.
Well, all I'm saying is that based on the continuity of Indiana Jones, which does say that these myths are real, what if he drinks from something, whether it's the Fountain of Youth or something else, in like the first half of the movie, and he becomes Chris Pratt or somebody else? That could work.
I do want to drop some knowledge.
Go ahead.
You know me, I like to look stuff up.
That's why we love you. Go for it.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to talk about the Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981.
Okay.
Tom Selleck almost starred in the movie. He was
did.
almost Indiana Jones.
That's true.
Tom Selleck. Yeah.
And Kurt Russell was almost Han Solo in the auditions for Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
go figure.
Boy, he's kicking himself now.
You know what?
In the Temple of Doom in 1984, there was some Star Wars tributes. So there are many Star Wars touches in the Temple of Doom. The name of the nightclub in Shanghai is Club Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
In
You can
the
tell.
Temple
Those
of
big
Doom. It was
banners.
I
the
never
Club
realized that.
Obi-Wan. And the sound effect you hear when the lava pit opens as they begin to sacrifice Willie is the sound of Darth Vader opening his lightsaber.
Really?
Yeah, go figure. And
Well
Dan
done.
Aykroyd has a cameo in that movie.
What did he play?
All right, so the part of the crew made cameo appearances in the airport scene at the beginning of the movie. Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, costume designer Anthony Powell, and PR man are missionaries, right? They're in the movie. Executive producer George Marshall is a coolie pulling a rickshaw. Dan Aykroyd appears as an airport official who walks the cast to the plane.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I never knew.
so
I like.
There you go. Yeah.
I like.
Good stuff,
I like
right?
learning new things. Yep. Good stuff.
In 1989, The Last Crusade, even the rats. You remember the rats in that movie in 1989? They were trained, right? They were insured. Can you believe that? They had insurance. Really? Yeah. So the insurer wanted to know that the minimum number of the rats in the scene could be shot with and used. And the answer to write a policy was 1,000 rats deductible.
That's funny as heck.
Yeah, so it's sort of, some fun facts regarding the movie.
That's neat. Awesome. All right, well, before I move on to the next subject, does anyone have anything else Indiana Jones-ish they want to add to the discussion?
Indiana Jones and Devo brought whips into American culture. And
Did
that's
you
also
say
good.
Debo?
Yes. They brought whips into American culture, and I love that.
Did they? Yeah, I suppose that's true. The bullwhip. Very effective weapon. All right. So, interesting. So much we could talk about. Like I said, Super Geeks is mostly about superheroes, obviously, but I consider, like I said, Indiana Jones sort of so unique as a genre that I put it like just a hair on the tree below being its own, sort of being a superhero. I think Indiana Jones as a character
It's
is,
an adventure movie.
yeah, he's larger than life. He's like Han Solo, but he created the noir genre of the pulp fiction archaeologist, adventurer. Alan Quatermain is another example, and then they tried to.
He was created out of the shadow of Alan Quatermain stories,
Exactly.
Quatermain books.
Yeah. Alan Quatermain and Indiana Jones are, part of the same genre, but Indiana Jones took its cue from Alan Quatermain, the same way that the Jedi.
Which, by the way, the movie really disturbed me as a kid because I saw people getting burned to death with gold, which was not a. If you remember that.
You
scene.
mean the molten lava? Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was like, oh, that's a new one.
Yeah, they did that on Game of Thrones too.
Yeah, well, later, yeah. But I'm just saying, as a kid, you see somebody getting burned to death with gold. Hello.
Liquid gold, when they're melting it into something. Yeah, that's a horrible way to die. But yeah. All right. So
anyway.
Moving on to the next subject. So Anthony and I have you notice how I said that? Anthony
we have a $1 bet.
We have a $1 bet.
Oh.
And you're not going to win. I don't care what the pre-numbers say.
All right. Well, the pre-numbers.
Who's pregnant?
The pre-sale numbers suggest that Batman v Superman is going to do better than a lot of people realize when it comes out on the 25th of March this month, because Anthony and Shell are laughing at me for even suggesting that Batman v Superman will touch Deadpool's numbers, whether it's opening weekend or whatever. I totally stand by my opinion that you are underestimating the power of the nostalgia between the two characters coming to the screen together for the first time.
I think it'll beat them.
I do too.
All right, Raul, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I want you to answer truthfully.
I always.
So when the movie comes to the theaters, are you going to go watch it at the theaters?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes. Of course. You don't even have to ask me.
I'm going to tell you right now that Batman v Superman will not topple Deadpool.
Well, and I disagree with you so much.
Well, thank you for speaking so slowly, as if I was brain damaged.
Well, before I say that,
I want to make sure you understood.
Before I go into my diatribe, Ross, what do you think? Ross?
Ross has to go.
I'm not sure.
That was great. No, I'm just kidding. Here's why I think we will beat them. It's not just because, like Shell would say, but you're such a DC fanboy. You're just hoping, and if it happens to work out that way, then we're going to say,
that's not true, though. Each of the movies has had a franchise. The Superman has had a. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
But each of the movies has had a franchise. The Superman obviously had a very strong franchise in the 80s and still has a lot of fan base. And then Batman has had a more recent franchise in the 90s.
It isn't just the films.
It's not just the films. You're right. It's
almost 100 years.
It's a culture of comic books that the two have and then the combination of those two characters in one movie. It doesn't matter that it's Ben Affleck. He's gotten to be a much better actor than people realize. So and the other casting is actually fairly good.
Here's the thing. It isn't, believe it or not, it's not because of Batman and Superman that I think it's going to make this movie beat Deadpool. It's Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I
agree.
She's the wild card in this movie. All of the people who have seen the movie already, and at this point we're so close. There's been a lot of previews. People have reviewers. The one thing that keeps coming out of the word of mouth from all the people who have seen the movie is pretty universally the same. She steals the entire movie. People have been waiting for Wonder Woman to and we're going to lead into one of our other subjects later on about Xena coming back, but it's sort of the same idea. We have been waiting for women to get their representation on the big screen to join this club of all the superhero bigwigs. You got Iron Man, the Avengers. Yeah, Black Widow's a big feature in the Avengers, but she hasn't had her own movie. So
she's
everybody's
shown her ass a lot. Is
right.
Basically what's happened.
I have no problem with that, but the point is
I have a small problem with that.
Well, we can talk about.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later because that's a separate issue about the sexism or whatnot. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying we've been waiting for Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman are the holy trinity of DC. But not more importantly, Wonder Woman's one of the top iconic superheroes of all time, whether it's DC or Marvel. And
she's had garbage representation on the screen in the past.
Well, she's never been in a movie.
Her TV representation was not bad.
It wasn't bad. People remember Linda Carter.
Linda Carter was not bad. For the time period, for what it was, it wasn't bad.
For what it was. I agree with you. And the thing is that Wonder Woman has always deserved to get on the big screen. But the studios, all those people smoking cigars, sitting back with their money, have been so careful about taking a risk on, because let's be honest, Red Sonja the movie, whenever they try to make a movie with a woman protagonist, the numbers usually are horrible. So they go by that and they say, well, we're not going to take another chance and put someone like Brigitte Nielsen, as She-Hulk or someone else out there, and she actually was up for She-Hulk at one point. They did a test thing that they released online, but that's why I threw that out there. But she also played Red Sonja, so they're not going to risk their money,
which I liked.
Yeah, but the thing is that they like them as supporting characters, but that's almost like saying, but we like them as being like the woman behind the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I do want to say one thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you guys watch this week's Supergirl?
I have not seen the whole thing. I have to go back and watch the rest of it. I got sidetracked.
I do want to say this one thing.
Go ahead.
In the TV show, they did a tribute to who was it? Oh goodness, who was a Superman back in the 1980s?
Oh, Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeves, right? In one of the movies where Christopher Reeves lost his power, remember when he was at the bar and he took the peanuts and he was flicking it and broke the bottles?
That was the one with Nuclear Man.
He did. All right, so Supergirl did that also. She was exposed to red kryptonite. And she was in a bar. She took the peanuts out of a jar, put it on the bar, and flicked it and broke the bottles. It was a flashback to the Steve Reeve.
An homage to that movie.
Yeah, to the homage to that movie.
Was the one. The movie you're referencing is the one where Christopher Reeve was on an anti-nuclear war or nuclear arms.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, he went evil and he got angry and stuff.
He split into two Superman. He did a great drunk, evil Superman. You remember that one? Ross?
Yeah.
Never saw that one.
You never
so oh really, dude? You gotta watch the Superman movies and then watch last week's episode of Supergirl, and it's a total homage to that movie. It was great. I remember I was watching Supergirl, like she's in the bar and she has this, stainless steel bowl of peanuts. She takes the bowl, pours it on the bar. I'm like, oh crap, is she going to flick it and break the bottles? And sure as stuff, she did. I was like, oh my goodness, that was an homage back to the Christopher Reeves when he did the same thing.
Seb, have you been watching Supergirl at all? Just out of curiosity.
I have not.
I've got to tell you.
You guys are killing me.
Yeah, I'm telling you and Ross, because me and Anthony and Shell watch it, and I'm going to tell you right now, this show is groundbreaking. I mean, this is actually part of this. Actually, the funny thing is part of the theme of this episode. Supergirl is and Ellen in the Ellen DeGeneres show was talking about to Gal Gadot recently, and she pointed out that women are getting empowered now, not just because of Wonder Woman coming, but because of Supergirl on TV. And I gotta tell you, when the show first came out, as much as I was cheering for it, I was kind of doubtful about the support for it. But and you know, you would see people rag on it and say sexist comments all over the internet. But I gotta say, the show became so standout in the course of the first season that people for the majority are just on board. They're like, this show as a comic book show, whether it's a woman, whether it's Supergirl, it doesn't matter. They are so on point to representing DC on television, just like The Flash, that, I mean, seriously, the show is amazing. The writing, the acting, I mean, the choreography when they fight, the special effects. I mean, this is an amazing show, and I feel like if they can keep going with what they're doing, because next week, Terry Lynn Shaw, a friend of ours, she posted, she shared a link. They're bringing in a new character who's been around from DC for a while, called the Guardian. He's sort of like Captain America. He has a shield and everything.
I'm familiar. I'm very familiar.
And he's coming on
next
DC
week.
week.
Lore very well.
Good. Then you'll know who the Guardian is, and he's coming on next week. So they've been doing such an amazing job of staying true to the canon of DC, their own way though. But yeah, no, seriously, you got to check it out, dude. You don't even.
I've heard only good things about Supergirl. At first, I wasn't really. I've never been amazed by the character in DC the way they represented her.
Yeah,
I've heard only good things. I've only heard good things about the character on the show and the way they've done the show.
The portrayal of Supergirl, on this show, in this universe. And here's another thing, too. You know, the thing about DC is they've always had the multiverse. And the Flash, when he comes on soon, they've already established the multiverse on the Flash. They've established he can travel to Earth 2, Earth 3. They got 52 universes. Well, they've already revealed that when he visits this show for the crossover thing, it's not the same universe. It's part of the same network crossover. Like CBS owns CW. You know, they also own TNT. So they were going to do the Titans TV show, which got canceled, but they were planning on having Titans crossover with Flash and Supergirl in the future, but they ended up, canceling the show, so that's a moot point. So, Ross, have you had a chance to check out any of this stuff yet? I know you're catching up because you were in the Navy.
I'm still catching up with Arrow.
I would recommend that you skip Arrow and you go over to the Flash. You're going to get more entertainment, in my opinion. What do you think?
I like Arrow. I really enjoy Arrow.
I really am
season
too.
Is kind of whatever. He just hunts criminals. It's very similar to a lot of supernatural superhero shows. Oh, I'm hunting drug dealers. Oh, whatever. It's very blah, but it really picks up.
Okay. Ross, I recommend to you, I'm telling you right now, you would love The Flash. I'm telling you. The show has just... Yeah, and Anthony, I know you're waiting for it to all come out later on Netflix or something.
I am.
Do you have Hulu?
I don't like Hulu.
Alright, because it's on Hulu, but... Yeah, you guys, seriously, the crossover episodes are great too, but The Flash, there's something special about that show. The Flash, sort of jumped off of the pedestal of the Arrow, So I think you guys should check it out. Shell, if he was here too, would say the same thing. So anyway,
I fully intend to. I've just got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's fine. You can always binge watch with your girlfriend. Is she there?
The girls like Arrow more than the others, by the way. They tend to like Arrow.
So make
because
a date.
Of the guy.
Well, he does run around shirtless quite a lot.
So what I recommend, Ross, is you get your girl. You guys have been together at least a year. I saw your Facebook stuff.
Okay, a little stalkerish there, George.
Yeah, I know. But, well, it's posted openly. So, I mean, Hannah, you are what you are on social media.
Facebook makes it easy to stalk people.
Yeah, it updated me that Ross was celebrating a year. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not stalkerish. It was in my face.
I'm only pulling...
I'm just going to say this. Ross is on my Facebook, but I don't follow him and I don't stalk him. I didn't even know that he was with a woman, okay?
What did you assume he was with?
I did not assume anything.
Well, that just means that just tells
because
me you
he's
don't
on a
care.
sub, he can't be with a woman. Is that
Yeah,
what
that
you're
just
saying?
tells me. You know what? I'm gonna go the opposite.
Are you jealous?
I'm gonna go the opposite.
I'm
gonna
just
say,
saying he's
I'm
on a
just
sub.
saying.
He could be with a woman or a man.
I'm getting the sense that you're jealous.
I'm getting a sense that you thought he was with a monkey.
I'm
What
getting,
is your problem?
I'm getting the sense that I thought he was a cat person, and he had like
Oh, you
16
guys are cracking me
cats,
up.
and he was feeding them.
Let's talk about Shia LaBeouf.
Let's talk about anybody.
This whole conversation just went really weird,
It went south.
even for me.
Yeah.
Oh, knock it off!
What
you
I was
military.
And
gonna
I've got a
suggest-
tolerance.
What I was going to suggest was you make a TV dinner, and
Did you notice that George's voice broke right there?
Mhm.
sorry. So you make a TV dinner or something for her. Okay.
TV dinner.
Yeah, why not? Because it's cheaper and easier. So then you put on the DVR or whatever, you use Hulu, whatever, and you put on The Flash, and you start with the first episode, and you guys just marathon the whole thing for the first season, all in one night. And if you do that, not only will you be cool, but I think by the end of the night you're gonna be a happy camper because she's gonna thank you
Oh my
because
god.
that's how good the show is.
See what I can do.
See what
Love
you can do,
advice
huh?
from George on the air.
Yeah. So I was being
George
suggestive.
Silsby, the love doctor.
The Love Doctor. Hey, you know how they have the War Doctor?
Magnum, you say it. It sounds better.
What do you want me to say?
Do it.
And the
Say
moment's
what?
passed.
Tell me.
The Love Doctor.
The Love Doctor.
There you go, people. Make of that hashtag it. Make of it what you will. You can abuse it. You can abuse that statement. Do whatever you want. Ross has been given some love advice. Take it as you will. So, anyways, so that's my recipe for a good date night. You watch The Flash, and you have a TV dinner. Salisbury steak.
So instead of Netflix and chill, it's TV dinner and The Flash?
Salisbury steak especially. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Salisbury steak, I'm telling you, stuff's good.
Hey, chef, what's for dinner? What's for lunch? Salisbury steak, children.
And it's The Flash.
Oh my
Shirtless
God.
Arrow.
So we've covered
Well, it's Salisbury steak day.
All right. We could talk about this all night, but I'm trying to keep a time limit here. Actually,
Hello, children. How are you doing? Bad. Why
Wait,
bad,
wait.
children?
you gotta do the hello children a little bit better than that.
I'm just playing that.
I know. All right. So Jenna Malone, who was rumored to be playing Oracle, and there's actually a lot of credible evidence that that's who she's playing in the cutscenes for Batman v Superman. Her role was cut from the final edit of the film, but they're saying it's going to be on the Blu-ray. So they still haven't confirmed or denied what role that was. There's a lot of credible evidence that it is indeed Oracle, that there was a dream sequence with Ben Affleck as Batman that she was, he sees her getting shot and becoming Oracle from Batgirl. But they're saying now that her role has been cut and will be in the DVD. Now, as an actress, she's being cool about it, that her role has been sort of preempted from the actual movie itself to the DVD.
But what can she do? Really?
Yeah, but that's the question. So
I'm just thinking that she didn't follow along with the rules. And
they're saying it's because of the time. It had nothing to do with her.
I have
And
nothing.
that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon at all.
It may not be uncommon, but I have a feeling she had conflict with the director.
You think
Well,
so?
it's probably not.
Oh
not
yeah, come on
conflict
now.
Megan
You got to
Fox.
remember the director will cut scenes of actors who they have had conflict with.
Depends on where the story's going to and how important the scenes are to be left on the cutting room floor.
You got to remember, why was I not in Star Wars 7? Because I had a conflict with the director.
Well, your scene was a stormtrooper taking a dump.
Well, the fact of the matter, I was in it until it got cut. And
But they
put on
didn't
the,
need to show a stormtrooper taking a dump. That's what I'm saying.
It's sort of like that conflict about why, in science fiction movies, like in Star Trek, how come they never use the bathroom?
You know what?
No one wants to see you
Maybe-
getting disciplined by Captain Phasma.
What were
Maybe
you
if
gonna
you
say?
didn't hold that Black Lives Matter in the scene where you were all lining up, to get shot, maybe by the stormtroopers, maybe you would have been in the film.
Maybe.
You might have a
Maybe.
point. You might have a point. So, what do you guys think of it in general about that?
I think it's just an attention grab. These things happen when you make a big film. You have a whole bunch of ideas, a lot of fun story points, but some things just start as essential to others and they get cut. Just how it goes.
Do you
It's
think
already going to be.
Well, I mean, what was Jenna Malone's contribution that would have made the movie anyway?
Well, that's the question. What were you
A
going to say, Raul?
flashback.
That's about it, right?
It's not a main point of the story. Let's be very
Right.
honest. So
Right.
a director has to look at what is the main point of the story. Does it add to the main point of the story? It's already a huge, long movie that tells
That's
a
true.
huge tale.
It is a
And-
long running time. It's
And
like 2
he
hours
needs
and
to
a half.
cut it. He needs to cut it under a certain time so that so many seats are filled in the theater, and it continuously runs so many times a day. That's what they're looking at. That's what they have to consider.
That's a good point.
The directors that don't pay attention to that risk losing out on one showing a day, and that's the real talk. That's the real deal.
Well, I'm
You
going to
mean-
say it's not really the directors as much as the editors.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but
the-
the
well, the
directors
directors have a
work
say.
with the editors.
Yeah.
The directors work
The
with the editors
directors
on
have
the
a
final.
say, but it's the editors who
No.
make the final
No.
decision.
No, they
No,
don't.
not-
The
no,
directors
they
do.
don't.
My friend.
Come on now. Work
No.
with me. Work with me, people.
No,
No,
they
listen,
don't.
I have a friend
At the
who's
last,
I have a friend
Peter
who's a
Jackson.
director.
When the
Everybody
director-
has a friend who's a director. I get that.
But it's true.
But
They-
at
they
the
have the
last
final say,
moment,
not the
they
not the
work with the
editors.
editors. The editors are the hands and brains at work. But the directors say, "I want this, I want that, I want this." After they're finished filming, they basically go into post production and go into the
Correct. Yep.
go into that scene. We'll go into that scene where they're all working in post production with the editors.
He's
They
right.
basically-
The
go
director
into
does have the
rap.
final cut. The editors make the suggestions, but the directors are the one who make the final call. Yes, I agree with you, or whether I don't. It's not the editor's decision.
No.
The editors just they're basically the ones that they're the soldiers who obey. They make the cuts if the director says to make the cut, or they do it for them.
They can make suggestions like,
Yeah.
I don't think this works here. Especially if they're senior editors, they've been working a long time. They see how the movie flows, and they have trust with the directors. They can make suggestions, and they've worked with the director before. But no way and no how does a director give up control.
Not at all. Yeah.
That's not how a director works.
So when you said
Except
work
to
with
the
me here,
studio.
yeah, when you said work with me here, was that just you pretending you knew what you're talking about? You know what I'm saying? Anthony.
Who are you talking?
You, no, I mean, ask
No, seriously,
man,
dude.
you sound a
Think
little
about
weird.
it. You have a director who directs the movies, who directs the actors, and has them portray in a way of his vision. That's the director. So what he does, he gets all of this compiled. He then gives it to the editor to cut it down to make it look presentable to the masses.
Post production with the
In the post production. But the editor is not going to control the editor. I mean, wait. The director is not going to control the editor.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
he's
he
going to
does.
veto. He can veto the decision.
Well, he
No,
may
no, no.
veto, but he's
No,
not
no,
going
no,
to
no.
direct the editor. You
Yes,
guys
he
have
is.
to understand that.
Actually, you're
Yes,
wrong.
he
If that was a point, then you would not need an editor.
Well,
You do need an editor.
you do need an editor.
That's their specialty.
No, you don't. Not if the director is going to say, "Don't cut
I
that
hate
out."
to burst your bubble, my friend, but you're wrong about
You're
this.
bursting my bubble.
I'm bursting it like a.
I challenge. I request that all the listeners who have knowledge of the movie industry
All 20
validate
of you.
my statement by responding to George
Ugh.
on supergeeks99@gmail.com and respond.
7 on Twitter.
And supergeeks7 at Twitter,
That's
Twitter,
fine.
and tell him that the editors are not controlled by the directors.
They are though.
They are.
Totally, 100%. I have a
Just
friend
because you say it is does not mean it is.
Ah,
You can
this is
actually
different than
see
an
it.
opinion.
You can actually see it in DVDs
Yep.
and and DVD and Blu-rays, the post-production work and how it
A friend
functions.
of mine directed a movie called Nuclear Family, and he also did some other stuff for the Sci-Fi Channel. Well, the one that starts with SY. But his name is Kyle Rankin. I'll give him a shout out. Hey, Kyle. He did some other. He worked with Mel Gibson on this other film, Infestation. That's what it was called. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel also. Him and Mel Gibson worked together. He went to school with me. He's a good friend of mine. Him and I talk a lot because when I do Star Trek Starfinder, when I was first doing that, I got some advice from him. And he said to me, I asked him how much of the editing decision, and this is the only reason I'm arguing with you, my friend, because of this conversation I had with an actual director. And I asked him,
One person.
well, he's a director for an actual Hollywood thing.
One person.
One person who has clout.
I don't know him. He's never saw my paycheck, so I don't see any clout from him.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, he told me that the director is the final say no matter what. It's just that the editors will make suggestions on where to trim. But when it comes to what they call the cutting room floor, the director makes the final say.
Let's move along, please.
Yeah, let's move along. I agree.
Oh, come on, Ross. Knock it off. Don't try to be all politically correct. Let's
Well,
just
we
have
haven't
this
I'm not
discussion.
being politically correct. I just see an argument that's running around and around and around
Yeah,
in circles.
he does have a good point because we have a time restraint. So, yeah, we could talk about this all day. Well, there's a lot of things we could talk about all day, but so the final discussion that we were going to talk about is Sally Field is sort of dissing her time on The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out that article I posted.
Never saw the movie. Didn't
Really?
like it.
You
Didn't
never
like-
saw the
like
Andrew
what I read.
Garfield things?
Didn't like it. Didn't like what I saw about it. Liked the Tobey Maguire movies. Didn't feel the need to see it.
Fair enough. I'll post it on the Super Geeks site. But Sally Field said, because she played she played Aunt May, and which was ironic because she wasn't really as old as Aunt May should be. But she said, and this is a quote from an article, that back in 2012, she said, "It's not my kind of movie." She told Howard Stern. And she said she said her friend Laura Ziskin, it was the producer. We knew it would be her last film. She was my first producing partner, and she was a spectacular human, but it was really just for her that she did it. And she said playing Aunt May opposite Andrew Garfield requires some effort, which suggests they didn't get along too well. And she said, but not a great deal. So she was like saying, basically, that's her politically correct way of saying, well, it wasn't as easy to work with him as some people, but we got it done.
I'm going to chime in on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sally Field was known as an A-list celebrity back in the 1980s.
Yep.
Remember her with Smokey and the Bandit with Burt Reynolds.
That's correct.
And then she's done some other movies as well, and she's been an A-list celebrity. By the time she's done The Amazing Spider-Man, she was no longer an A-list celebrity. And then you get this young actor from the UK, Andrew Garfield, who's coming in and working with Emma Stone, and they're the new actors now. So
right.
She's sitting here thinking, how come I'm not getting the attention as these young actors? Do you know who I am? I think it's more of an ego thing, more than it was her trying to, I'm being professional and I got to work with these actors who I don't get along with.
I think you could be right. Because
she did an annoying movie called Not Without My Daughter that they played on the Woman's Channel. I forgot what it was.
Oh,
Lifetime.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. Because I only know because my mother watched that damn movie over and over.
Yeah, and she still didn't get the recognition that she feels she deserves because she was an A-list celebrity.
She won an Oscar for something.
Yeah, but you know the curse of the Oscars. Whenever you win an Oscar, your career goes downhill from there.
Is that what they call it?
She's the one that
it's a curse.
They mock all the time because she says you like me, you really really like me.
Oh yeah,
that's her.
What do you think, Ross? How you feeling? Did you watch The Amazing Spider-Man?
I really liked her Aunt May. I like the non-geriatric one foot in the grave Aunt May. And I think
Yeah.
she did really well in the movie. She might not feel like her time was worthwhile, but I enjoyed her performance, and I enjoyed the character.
I agree.
Yeah, but Sally Field didn't like it. That's the whole point.
No,
She
Okay.
feels
she didn't like it.
it's because she didn't get the attention she deserved.
No, what I'm gathering from this conversation that she gave, our interview, whatever you want to call it, she is hinting that she had a difficult time working around the ego of the young Andrew Garfield. That's what I've gathered. If you read it, she's saying nicely that the dude had an ego and that she was trying to work around that. That's just what I've gathered. I could be wrong.
Well, welcome to Young Hollywood.
There you go. So now that Marvel has gotten Spider-Man back, and they're going to do a new movie after Civil War,
That is not an origin story, thank God.
Yes, they're not going to go backwards. So unless they do flashbacks, which is fine. If they do flashbacks, I have no problem with that.
I don't
It's
want
not the same-
flashbacks. No more flashbacks.
It depends
No.
on what the flashbacks are for.
No flashback. Just continue. Just have it.
As long as they
no,
don't flashback Uncle Ben yet again, you know what I'm saying? We've heard the speech. With great power comes, great responsibility, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
You know what just occurred to me?
What?
That's the second superhero dad that Kevin Costner has played their death.
It's Kevin Costner.
Kevin
Martin
Costner's
Sheen
cornering
played
the market.
Uncle Ben in the new one.
Oh, wait. Damn it. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm thinking because Kevin Costner played... Martin Sheen played the latest Uncle Ben. And I don't remember the name of the
Isn't
actor.
Uncle Ben the people that make rice and then you just add water and then 3 minutes later you have rice?
Yep.
Yes, it's actually one of
Okay,
the most
thank
common
you.
Spider-Man jokes
Uncle
there
Ben
are.
should date Aunt Jemima.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, you guys. So we've kind of run over the time that I needed to a lot because we're doing the interview that we're attaching to this episode. So I'm trying to keep it as under control as possible, so we can add that interview. So we can
Great
put
job,
this
George.
Down with the man.
down with the man. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. And Raul, I'm hoping you can join us again soon. He's not a guest. He's been always part of the plan to be one of our hosts, but his mom keeps asking him to do stuff. No, I'm just kidding. He keeps not being available, which is fine because we all have real lives. But can I ask you, Raul? Can you try to twist your real life to fit our show because we're more important?
I will.
All right. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for this impromptu last-second rescheduling of our regular show. There's a lot of things to talk about. Reach out to us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you guys have any ideas, if you want us to focus on a certain subject in the superhero genre or something related nearly to it, that's fine. We're open. So, supergeeks99@gmail.com, as Anthony said earlier. Supergeeks7 on Twitter. And we will talk to you next time.